Several secessionist and separatist movements exist within the Republic of India. Whereas, some have wanted a separate state, union territory, or an autonomous administrative division within India. Many separatist movements exist with thousands of members. However, some have low local support and high voter participation in democratic elections. However, at the same time, demanding separate statehood within under the administration of Indian Union from an existing state can lead to criminal charges under secession law in India. India is described as a union of states in Article 1 of the Indian Constitution, indestructible nation of destructible states, by its father of Constitution Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar 3, where a state or union territory of India cannot secede from India by any means, and the central government has more powers than the respective state governments, and can forcefully change the names and boundaries of the states without their permission at any time when needed for self-interest and for the maintenance of integrity. The Naxal Maoist insurgency began in India with the Naxalbari uprising in 1967 in West Bengal. Later, it also spread to the southern states of India. Currently, it is led by the Communist Party of India, Maoists, and are active in some areas of the states of Chhattisgarh, Bihar, Jharkhand, Maharashtra, Odisha, Andhra Pradesh, and Telangana. The areas where Naxals operate is known as the Red Corridor. Their support mainly lies with the tribal population of India, who have often been neglected by the elected government. The Khalistan movement in Indian Punjab was active in the 1980s and 1990s, but was suppressed by the Indian Army. Secessionist movements in northeast India involve multiple armed separatist factions operating in India's northeastern states, which are connected to the rest of India by the Siliguri Corridor, a strip of land as narrow as 23 kilometers wide. Northeastern India consists of the 7 states of Assam, Megh, Tripura, Arunachal Pradesh, Mizoram, Manipur, and Nagaland. Tensions existed between insurgents in these states and the central government, as well as amongst their native indigenous people and migrants from other parts of India. Insurgency has seen rapid decline in recent years, with a 70% reduction in insurgency incidents and an 80% drop in civilian deaths in the Northeast in 2019 compared to 2013. The 2014 Indian general election, the Indian government claimed it had an 80% voter turnout in all northeastern states, the highest among all states of India. Indian authorities claim that this shows the faith of the northeastern people in Indian democracy. Insurgency has largely become insignificant due to lack of local public support, and the area of violence in the entire northeast has shrunk primarily to an area which is the tri-junction between Assam, Arunachal Pradesh, and North Nagaland. In contrast with the other insurgencies in northeast India, Manipur-based militants are characterized by a low level of defections and a well-organized intelligence network. They have also avoided targeting local police personnel, thus aiming to secure popular support. Extortion remains the main source of funding for militant groups. Hindu temples, educational institutions, and businesses are known to have been targeted with illegal taxation. As many as 26 permanent tax collection checkpoints have been set up on the NH39 and NH53 national highways. Militants have also resorted to abducting children and later employing them as child soldiers. On May 3, 2023, ethnic violence broke out in the state of Manipur between the Kuki and the Meitei people, which killed more than 120 people and injured more than 3,000 people, and led to a resurgence of insurgent groups in the region. Jammu and Kashmir has long been racked by the insurgency since 1989. Although the failure of Indian governance and democracy lay at the root of the initial disaffection, Pakistan played an important role in converting the latter into a fully developed insurgency. Some insurgent groups in Kashmir support complete independence, whereas others seek accession to Pakistan. More explicitly, the roots of the insurgency are tied to a dispute over local autonomy. Democratic development was limited in Kashmir until the late 1970s, and by 1988 many of the democratic reforms provided by the Indian government had been reversed and non-violent channels for expressing discontent were limited and caused a dramatic increase in support for insurgents advocating violent secession from India. In 1987, a disputed state election which is widely perceived to have been rigged created a catalyst for the insurgency. In 2019, the special status of Jammu and Kashmir was revoked. Since then, the Indian military has intensified its counterinsurgency operations. Clashes in the first half of 2020 left 283 dead. The 2019 to 2021 Jammu and Kashmir lockdown was a security lockdown and communications blackout that had been imposed throughout Jammu and Kashmir, which lasted until February 2021, with the goal of preemptively curbing unrest, violence, and protests. Thousands of civilians, mostly young men, had and have been detained in the crackdown. The Indian government had stated that the tough lockdown measures and substantially increased deployment of security forces had been aimed at curbing terrorism. India has introduced several laws like the Armed Forces Special Powers Acts, AFSPA, to subdue insurgency in certain parts of the country. The law was first enforced in Manipur and later enforced in other insurgency-ridden northeastern states. It was extended to most parts of the Indian state of Jammu and Kashmir in 1990 after the outbreak of an armed insurgency in 1989. Each act gives soldiers immunity in specified regions against prosecution under state government unless the Indian government gives prior sanction for such prosecution. The government maintains that the AFSPA is necessary to restore order in regions like Indian territories of Kashmir and Manipur. The act has been criticized by Human Rights Watch as a tool of state abuse, oppression, and discrimination. On March 31, 2012, the UN asked India to revoke AFSPA, saying it had no place in Indian democracy.